Of course, man. It's just I joined this live through someone inviting me because it seemed like not too long ago you guys were talking about Mark 13:32. So I was like interested in coming up and just speaking on that.
Well, yeah, Dean, I got to run into work. I gave a whole thing on that. I can't do it again because I got to punch the clock. But the conversation is actually got to be with Q-Top. I don't know if you can just maybe talk to him about Allah and the restrictions you believe in the tickets.
So Dean, I'm not convinced that Allah can know anything, Dean.
You're not convinced that he can know anything?
Yeah, I think that his knowledge would collapse into the pure identity problem. Are you familiar with the pure identity problem?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
So if do you hold to absolute divine simplicity?
No, as Muslims we don't hold to that theology.
Okay, well, if you don't hold to absolute divine simplicity, you're saying there are distinctions in Allah's essence, correct? There are parts of Allah. Allah's
it depends what you mean part by parts, but yeah, there's distinctions. There's distinctions between the attributes, yeah.
Yeah, so the problem with that is we have distinctions in one essence, and these distinctions wouldn't exist like in some sort of like conceptual way. The problem with that would be that Allah is composite, meaning he needs a composer. So anything that has parts, those parts need a composer to comprise those parts. So this would be like a metaphysical problem that you'd have under whole ADS.
So you're saying that to be composed, it requires a composer, right?
No, if you're a composite, it requires a composer, yeah.
Okay, so you believe God is simple, right?
Yeah, in the Christian worldview. Wait, but like before you ask me this, like, do you have a problem with that, or do you have an objection? Like, I have no problem.
My objection is I don't think it follows because would you say if it follows if I say that because you believe God is simple, right? Just to clarify.
Yeah. Do you know what we mean by divinely simple?
Yeah, like he doesn't have any distinct attributes. It's just one act, right?
Well, not even that, just one act. There's no distinctions in his essence. In terms of the divine essence.
Yeah, beautiful. So you do believe God is purely simple?
Yes.
So you would describe him as like a simple being, correct?
By simple, if you mean there's no distinctions in his essence, there are no real distinctions in the essence.
All right, beautiful. So the reason why I don't think it follows is because are you going to say that if I say God is simple, therefore he requires someone to make him simple? Do you think that follows?
Yeah, that wouldn't follow because when we say that God is simple, we're saying he's not comprised of parts. The whole thesis here is that parts require a composer of parts, right? If something is not composed of parts, it wouldn't require anything outside of itself to compose it because it is literally the most simple thing. Everything that exists in the world is comprised of a parts. Or parts, excuse me, which means it would just have it would have multiple compositions, right? Those compositions require a creator. This is one of the arguments, Dean, that we use against atheists. We say, well, look, all distinctions or all composites require a composer. So because you're composing,
I don't think it follows because
so why wouldn't
there needs to be justification that. So for example, I'm granting you all of this right now just to see where the argument follows, but I still don't see it. Like if there's going to be a God if there's a God that's quote unquote composed, because then that's your definition of having parts. That what's the justification that being composed requires a composer rather than it just being an eternal being that's composed?
Yeah, I'll explain. Can you have parts without a whole?
Can you have parts without a whole? No.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to demonstrate. Anytime we have parts are dependent or contingent upon a whole, right? So in this context, when we talk about metaphysic, right, when I say that God is divinely simple, what I'm saying is that God is not comprised of parts, meaning he's not dependent upon anything outside of himself that comprises those parts.
So let me ask. So the parts. So you're saying the parts would be contingent upon the whole, but here, so what would be the part? So the attributes that you would consider parts, what would they be dependent on?
What do you mean the attributes I would consider parts?
Because obviously you're saying the distinct attributes are parts.
What I'm saying is that your God concept is unintelligible because he's comprised of parts.
So what's the thing that's because you said that it implies contingent. So what's the parts contingent upon here?
Yeah, it would be contingent upon another God. to comprise of
No.
something outside of Allah.
So why can't I say the parts are contingent upon the whole, which is Allah, which means He's self-sufficient? Why can't I say that?
Wait. So is Allah a whole, or is Allah comprised of many parts? It is
I'm granting you here. Yeah. So I'll clarify to you. So Allah here would be the whole, and He'll be. I'm granting you your definitions here of compose and parts, but I still don't see a problem because I'm trying to see where it goes to. So Allah is a whole, and the parts are what makes up the whole. But here, the parts
Allah has many distinct parts to His being. Correct?
Yeah.
So Allah's being is made of parts. Allah is not a whole. Allah's being is made of separate parts. Correct?
Well, we established the parts make up the whole.
Oh wait, whoa. So the parts make up. So Allah is. So is Allah dependent upon His attributes?
If you mean by counterfactually dependent, then sure.
I don't know what you mean by counterfactually dependent. Counterfactual.
So the attributes make Allah, and Allah makes up the attributes. So that's the counterfactual dependency.
Okay, that's a weird use of counterfactual, but I'll use that. Okay, so just make sure Allah is dependent upon His attributes to be Allah. Allah is the attributes are dependent upon Him, but He's also dependent upon His attributes.
Yeah, that's a dependency. That's a dependency that doesn't entail. Yeah, that's a dependency that doesn't entail contingency, because He's self-sufficient here.
Wait. How can you have a dependency but not an entail contingency?
Like I told you, counterfactually dependent. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has parts under what we just discussed so far. So He has stuff that's lesser than the whole, and those stuff lesser than the whole make Allah who He is, and Allah is then He makes up the parts of what they are as well. Because here, Allah would be the one that possesses all of the attributes to make up who He is.
But the parts are
and the parts make Allah makes the parts who He is, and the parts make Allah who He is.
Wait. Can you have parts? You can have a whole without parts, but you can't have parts without a whole, right?
If they're separated, yeah, you can have the parts, yeah, without the whole.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so you can.
But Allah,
you can't have. So you can't have.
Allah doesn't have separate parts. They're all inseparable.
Wait, I'm not asking you if the parts are inseparable. I'm asking you, can you have parts without a whole?
Only if they're separate, yeah.
Wait. I'm just trying to make sure I'm understanding. So, like, if I have a pie, right, and I cut the pie into 8 slices, right, I can take out a part of the pie, right? So
that's what I just said.
Each discrete iteration. That's what I just said. It's dependent upon the whole. I can't have a part without a whole, right? I'm just making sure that we.
You can have a part without a whole. Of course, you can.
Okay, perfect. So Allah's attributes are a part of Allah. Correct?
Yeah, but it's not analogous because here you're talking about stuff that's separate, parts that are separate that don't make up the whole.
It doesn't matter if it's separate or not. I'm not asking you about it's like.
That's where your analogy is contingent upon.
I'm asking you, is Allah dependent upon His attributes?
Is Allah dependent upon His attributes? Like I said before, counterfactually dependent, sure, but that's not contingency.
1 second. So, look, when you say that, all you're saying is yes. You're just saying that there's a relation between Allah being dependent upon His attributes and the attributes being dependent upon Allah. Like that's all you're saying.
That's what's called self-sufficiency.
Okay. No problem. So, just to make sure we can establish some common ground here, okay? Allah's attributes are dependent upon Him, and Allah is dependent upon His attributes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
To make up who Allah is, sure, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Allah cannot be Allah without those attributes.
Yes.
But Allah is also dependent upon those attributes.
To make Him who He is, yeah.
Yeah, so He can't be who He is without the attributes. He's dependent upon those attributes, right?
Yeah, dependent, not contingent, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, brother. So, Dean, does Allah have the attribute of creator?
Yes.
Okay, so did Allah have that attribute before the creation?
Yes, He possesses that attribute before creation, sure.
Wait, so how can you be a creator if you haven't created anything?
Yeah, so there's a distinction between possessing the attribute and having the title itself after creating. Because you were asking me, does He possess the attribute?
Wait, so how can you be I'm just asking you a question because you're saying the distinction between possessing the attribute. How can you create? How can you be a creator? How can you possess the attribute of creator if you have
That's not an attribute. That's not an attribute. That's a title. So you see how
Allah does not have the attribute of creator?
No, so that's a title, bro. That's not right.
Wait. So Allah. Okay.
So let me explain. I've been answering yes or no for a while. I'm letting you ask. So just let me expand. So the point is that the title is creator, sure, but you were asking me at the beginning, does he have the attribute eternally? Yeah, he does. He has the attribute eternally, but he was titled creator after he created, sure. But just because
what does it mean for him to have the attribute? What does that attribute mean? Yeah. What does that attribute mean?
Having the attribute mean that he has the ability to create.
Wait. Okay, so he has the attribute creator even before he created because he has the.
He has the attribute. No, not the attribute of creator. He has the attribute of being able to create.
So the Quran does not say that Allah, one of Allah's 99 attributes, is creator.
It's not. Yeah, it's one of his 99 names. Yeah.
Wait. So are the names attributes?
The names would constitute attributes, but they're not identical to attributes.
Okay, one second. So, can I be a painter if I never paint?
That's the whole point. I told you. I granted you that.
Wait. So because I have the ability to paint, I'm a painter.
I didn't tell you that. Okay, can we go back?
I'm trying to get.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Do I have the attributes?
Yeah, the whole point is I agree with you.
Bro, Dean, come on, bro.
I agree with you, bro. I just told you. I agree with you.
Do I have the attribute of painter? Even if
I just told you yes. So let's go back to what I said.
Wait.
You can see.
Body bag, Darren. No, stop.
Q-talk. Let's go back because I just told you yes.
You gotta be honest, bro. You gotta be honest here, bro. I don't want to.
Bro, why are you muting?
Bro, I'm
answering all your questions directly. Why are you?
You gotta be honest, bro. Dean, you gotta be honest. I'm just getting clarification. I have the attribute of builder, even if I've never built anything.
Before you built anything, yes, you have the attribute of being able to build.
I'm not asking. I'm not. Does the Quran say that Allah has the attribute of being able to create, or does the Quran say that Allah has the attribute of creator?
Being called the creator is not an attribute, it's a title.
I'm not asking if she's being called. Does Allah have the attribute from eternity past of creator? Yes or no, Dean? This is where they get disingenuous. Yes or no?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Nowhere in the Quran does it say that Allah has the title of creator eternally. I'm granting you that he possessed the attribute of being able to create
I'm not
eternally.
If he possessed
you need to let me finish, bro. You need to let me finish.
If he possessed the attribute of creator. This is where you being disingenuous, bro.
Yo, Q-Top. Listen, man, you gotta let me speak instead of me.
You're not answering my question. You're being disingenuous.
Yeah, okay, sure, bro. Ask the question, let me expand instead of like interrupting.
Did Allah have the attribute of creator? Meaning, did Allah possess the attribute of creator?
Okay, sure. He didn't possess the title of creator eternally. I'm granting you that here. I'm trying to see the logical issue.
I'm not asking. Are attributes just titles? When you say an attribute, is an attribute just a title, or is an attribute something that one possesses?
An attribute is something you possess. It's not a title.
Okay, did Allah possess the attribute of creator?
That's a title, not an attribute.
Did Allah possess the attribute of creator? Body bags, bro. Everybody in this chest wear body bags.
That's not an attribute. That's a title.
The attribute of creator?
He didn't possess the title creator eternally.
I'm not asking if he possessed the title. Did Allah possess
Creator's a title. It's not an attribute.
Of creator? Bro, if you don't answer my question, I'm going to kick you, Dean. Like, you're literally not answering my questions. Did Allah possess the attribute? Not the title. Forget title. Did Allah possess the attribute?
I disagree with you. Yeah, I disagree with you. That's an attribute. That's a title, sorry. That would be
did Allah, bro, yes or no?
Yeah. I disagree with
yes or no question. I'm going to find... Dean, bro, I'm going to define what I mean when I say attribute again, okay?
Yeah,
attribute is something one possesses. Nothing to do with the title. It's something that one possesses. It's something that one actually possesses in their essence. I'm asking you, did Allah possess the attribute?
No. If that's your definition, then no.
He didn't? Okay, 1 second. So does Allah have in the Quran? Because again, you can let me know if I'm wrong. Does it not say that one of Allah's 99 names is creator?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Is Allah's 99 names attributes of Allah?
The 99 names, sure.
Perfect. So all 99 names
based on the definition you gave, yeah.
Okay, so all 99 names are attributes of Allah.
Bro, are you gonna give me time to speak, bro? Like you're just make me say yes or no.
Bro,
just yes or no.
I'm trying to get through a linear progression of reasoning here.
Yeah, you've asked like 3
questions. You already didn't ground how Allah doesn't necessitate a composer. You just presuppose that you can have distinction without needing a composer. But you're not
Dude,
showing
when
me
are
how
we gonna get to
Allah
a point
has
where I can
distinctions in
actually
his essence,
speak?
but not be the composer.
I'm answering your question. So like, when can I actually speak?
Dude, stop crying about not being able to speak, bro. You've been able to speak this entire time.
Well, dude, you've been
Hey,
like,
check this out. Hey, Dean, real quick, just so I can let you know the situation, bro. So when
Yeah.
I'm not here and Q-Top is on the panel, man, this is literally his live. So he kind of runs it. He runs it how he wants. So if you're not comfortable with how he's running the live, I mean, you could drop down.
I mean, Darren Burr.
I gave him
he's
full
been asking me
authority
yes
over
or
the live
no's,
while
and he's
I'm
been
gone, bro.
muting. So like, I mean, that's not something that's.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dean, I asked you yes or no.
So I am dropping down, you guys.
Establish something. What you mean, bro?
Yeah, no problem, dude.
I'm not gonna. I don't like. I don't like you guys.
Q-Top, you can ask. You can keep. Bird, you've went from. Do you need about creator and creating, right? Like, I mean, dude, like, what's your point? Like, I've been answering you
Yeah,
yes or
so
no.
I'll repeat my point again. You didn't actually answer metaphysically how you can have an essence that's composite that does not depend upon a composer.
No, the burden's on you.
But then you are saying that these attributes are dependent upon Allah, meaning Allah also is dependent upon these attributes. You use some
Counterfactually
weird type of word like
dependent.
counterfactual dependency, which you use counterfactual in a really weird way. But you unpack that. Dean, listen, bro. Like, this is like, dude, speak, okay? You saying I'm speaking? This is why I keep speaking, because every time I go to speak, you keep interrupting.
You have to justify that you need to have a composer.
Bro. And then when you're ready.
Yeah, Q-Top, you're the one that needs to justify that you need a composer if you're composed. You need to justify that.
Bro, I already explained it to you.
No, you didn't.
Okay, you want me to explain it again?
Yeah, what's the justification that to be composed necessarily means you have a composer?
Okay, I'll explain it again. Okay.
Yeah.
If you are composed, are you made of parts?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Are those parts dependent upon something to comprise them?
Yes, but in this case, it's God Himself.
Wait. So God is dependent upon Himself?
Yeah, that's what it means to be self-sufficient, dude.
Wait. So you're saying that parts?
Oh my God.
1 second.
Like,
So you're saying, wait 1 second.
like,
so
this is so slow.
Okay, yeah. This is like some weird like meta tactic. Okay, so you're saying that parts cannot be dependent upon a whole?
I'm granting your parts are dependent upon the whole here, yeah.
Okay, 1 second. So Allah is made of parts. What are those parts dependent upon that compose them?
Himself. Not to compose him.
1 second.
Not to
He is
compose
made
him.
of parts.
No,
you can't say
not
that
to
parts are
compose him.
dependent upon parts. I'm asking you if parts are
Allah
dependent
Himself
upon
isn't
whole
the
to
part.
comprise
Allah Himself is the whole.
Bro,
Yeah.
Dean, you're not listening to me, bro. You're literally not listening.
I am.
This is why you think you're answering my question, bro. I'm asking you can you repeat back the question I'm asking you?
Yeah, do the parts require a composer to make up the composite thing? And I told you yes.
No, that's not the question.
That's exactly what you said.
I'm asking you a question of causality and dependency. I'm asking you metaphysically if you're saying that something is comprised of parts.
Yeah.
Does it necessitate a composer? Does it depend upon a composer to comprise those parts?
No.
Okay, perfect. Can you please explain to me now, because I'm going to give you the floor, how we can have parts that do not depend upon a whole to comprise them?
Sure. Because you have an eternal relation between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His parts under your worldview, which is the attributes. They're counterfactually dependent upon one another in this eternal relation where you have a quote-unquote composite being under your own understanding. If you just mean that that the being has parts, then sure, there's a being that has eternal attributes that are distinct from one another. How does that then require? How does that then require something before it to temporally bring these parts together and composite it?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna break it down to you like this. Ontologically, in order for Allah to exist, He needs His parts. Correct?
Yeah, so He depends upon Himself, self-sufficiency.
When you say He depends upon Himself, He depends upon something extrinsic to Himself.
Himself is not extrinsic, dude. Are you okay?
So the parts are identical to His essence, correct?
No, bro.
Okay, so then if the parts are not identical to
dude, you're slow.
Bro, this is why you're not understanding the argument.
I told you
if
we don't hold
to
to divine
not
simplicity.
dependent upon Allah, or the
I
parts
told you from the beginning we didn't hold to ADS. How are you saying that? How are you saying that we believe that?
Bro, I'm asking you a question. I'm not saying anything. I'm asking you a question. Are these parts, in order for Allah to exist, does He need these parts?
Yeah, so he depends upon himself.
I'm not asking if he depends. In order for him to exist, in order for Allah to be,
Yes, to exist, he needs his
depend upon
parts.
these
Yes.
parts? Okay,
Yes.
are these parts identical or distinct from himself?
Distinct.
Okay, so Allah needs something distinct from himself to exist.
Yes, and that's himself.
What's the
Body
reductive?
bag. No,
What's
it's
the
not
reductive?
himself. Wait,
What's
wait,
the
wait.
reductive?
Allah
Literally,
needs
what's
something
the
distinct
argument?
from himself to exist, but that yet you're saying that things that are distinct from himself is himself. So is
Give
it
the
himself
reductive.
or is it distinct
Yeah,
from himself?
the whole. Yeah,
Body
there's a relation
bags.
between. There's a
Body
relation
bags,
between
bro.
the whole and the
You're
parts.
contradicting
Yeah.
yourself. It does. Listen. Does
What's the
Allah-
contradiction? What's the P and P? Tell me the P and P.
Hey,
Contradictions can't exist in a
Hey,
worldview.
hey, real quick, Q-Top, Dean,
This
hey,
is-
can you
this
guys do me a
is-
favor? I'm listening, but I am in the office, so I can't stay up here. But I just want to ask you a question, just to kind of. I know I can't hang with y'all philosophically. I'm just gonna let y'all know now. But I'm listening.
No, that's fine. But
If-
Darren,
No,
I
no,
want
it's
to
all
speak to you
good
about
there.
Mark.
No problem.
Hey, appreciate you,
Darren,
Islamic.
Darren,
Hold on,
I
I'm
actually
at work,
came up
bro.
to
I said I
speak
only
to you
got a
about
second,
Mark
bro.
13.
Relax. Hold on.
Yeah, go on. Go on.
So if Allah is made of parts, does that
Yeah.
refute or does that help your argument for Tawheed?
Neither. I'll tell you why.
It doesn't do anything.
It's just
I'm
like
confused, so I just want to know. Go ahead.
it's just a statement, and I'll tell you why. So, parts. When you say parts, okay, we're just granting his definition of parts. He's saying that anything that which has distinct properties, that is called composition. In our paradigm, we would say, sure, it's a type of composition, but it's symmetrical composition. Okay, symmetrical composition is defined as anything that which has parts, not necessarily composition in itself, but symmetrical composition. So
Gotcha,
yeah, we would
gotcha.
agree that Allah is symmetrically composed, meaning that he just has attributes. Simple. There's no reductio to that. Just because you hear the word composition doesn't mean.
All right, I just asked because I'm trying to track. That's all.
Yeah, they're not answering the question. that I'm
Wait,
asking.
Q-Top, can you ask me the question, please?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. In order for Allah to exist, does Allah need his attributes?
Of course.
Okay, perfect. So Allah's existence, to be, right, ontologically, do you accept that definition? Okay. Means that he needs his attributes, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Are these attributes identical to his being, to his existence, or are they distinct from his existence?
No, they are distinct, but that does not mean extrinsic, sir.
I'm not. Wait a second. How can something be How can something be intrinsically distinct?
Oh, good question. You have a hand?
Yes.
Is your hand you?
Yes, it is part of me.
Is it intrinsic or is it outside of you?
You didn't answer the question.
Wait,
You said yes, it's you, but part.
Wait,
Yeah, my hand is a part of me. Yes.
Okay.
It's not
So,
you. It's not you.
hang on. Is the hand you?
I have a hand. Yes, I possess
Yes,
a hand.
but are you your hand?
Your hand, dude. The third
No,
time.
I'm not
Wait.
my hand intrinsically. No.
Okay, good. So your hand.
Wait, how does this prove your point?
Wait.
In
I'll tell you
order
my
for me
point.
to
I'll tell
exist,
you.
I don't need my hand. Wait,
No,
whoa.
I understand.
But do you
I
think in order for me
understand.
to exist, I need my hand?
Q-Top, I understand. You're not understanding. My analogy that I'm bringing forth is simply to just be demonstrative about the idea that you can have something that is intrinsically distinct. All that means, Q-Top. Okay, your heart.
No. It's okay. This is.
Can you let me
this is
finish? I'm almost done.
Okay,
I'm almost done.
Yeah, no. This is a really big blunder. Okay, this is a category error. In order for me to exist, I don't need my hand.
I
Right? My
understand.
hand is a part- Islamic. It's like you're gonna have to like. This is like. I don't even think you're understanding like my critique. In order for me to exist, I don't need my hand.
Do you need your heart?
My hand. No, I don't actually. In order for me to exist physically, I need my heart.
No,
but I am not my
Q-Top.
heart.
No.
Wait,
But
one second.
you wouldn't be
Islam,
alive.
wait, Islamic. When you're in heaven, will you have a heart?
Oh my gosh.
Will you have a heart in heaven?
Q-Top. Please
Will
understand
you
what I'm
have
trying to tell you.
answer my question?
We
Body
don't
bags.
look.
Will you have a heart in heaven?
I'm not. Look. When
Will
say
you
alive,
have a heart in heaven, bro? You just asked me a question and I answered you, bro. You gotta be genuine.
Yes.
Will you have a heart in heaven?
Yes.
You will have a heart in heaven.
Yes. What? What? Are we organless?
Wait, you're gonna have. Wait, stop. You
Yes.
are going to have a. Wait, whoa. You're gonna have a heart that pumps blood in heaven.
We're gonna have a heart, sir. Yes. Sir, what's the problem?
Wait,
I don't
one second.
understand.
Are you
We
identical?
went
Wait,
nowhere.
wait.
You see,
Is your
Q-Top,
existence
can we go
identical
back to
your-
the subject?
Is
You
your
love doing
stop?
this.
No, because we're not. This is the subject, bro.
No,
this is the subject
dude,
matter
you're
because
saying something can't be intrinsically distinct, and I'm refuting you.
Oh my gosh! I'm
Can you let
saying
me
that
refute?
in order. Stop. I'm not saying. Okay, let me clarify this because I think that you're really confused on my position. I'm not claiming that something cannot be intrinsically distinct.
That's
I
what
am
you just
claiming
said.
that in order.
That's
I'm
literally what
I
you
am
just
claiming-
said.
That's exactly what you said,
Listen to what
dude.
I'm saying, bro. This is these
I know you
people
crashed-
interrupting me, bro. I'm gonna kick you guys, bro. I don't want to crash out. I actually don't. I don't want to crash out. Y'all have to stop interrupting me. Listen to the words I am saying. I'm saying that something's essence is not it cannot be dependent upon something extrinsic to itself. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, bro. Listen to me, bro. Listen to what I'm saying.
It's not extrinsic.
All right, bro. All right, I'm.
Look at him. Look at him, bro. Okay, thank you. I'll explain. So the heart or Allah's attributes, they're not extrinsic. They're not. They're not outside of his being. That's gibberish. No, God, that would be something called an extrinsic property is a Cambridge property. Okay? Allah does not need his Cambridge properties to exist. Do you understand? Okay? Let me give you an example. You have water. Wait, please, I'm almost done, Q-Top. Okay? You have water. Water is composed of two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. These three components or atoms are intrinsic to the water, but they're distinct. They're not all the same atom. They're not all the same thing, but they're intrinsically atom of oxygen. That is called intrinsic distinction. Go ahead and respond to that analogy.
Do you think this answers my question?
Yes.
Okay, what was my question?
Your question is, how can something be intrinsically distinct?
No, that was not my question.
That literally was your question.
I'm going to repeat. Wait, 1 second. One second. The actual words that I said was, how can something be intrinsically distinct? What was the context of that? We're talking about essence. I'm saying in order for something to exist, how can it have distinctions without being dependent upon a composer? All you're describing, please, I just let you speak. Guys.
Give an example.
Okay.
Yeah, go on, Q-Top, go on.
No. I'm gonna have to drop you, bro. If I literally just muted and I let you finish. So are you done? I'll let you continue.
Can we respond after you ask the question?
Before I put both of you in a body bag again, if you need to continue to speak, go ahead and speak until and then when it's my turn to speak, I'll speak. So go ahead.
Okay, Q-Top. So to answer your question, how can something be intrinsically distinct, or how can something have intrinsic distinctions, meaning properties that are distinct but they're intrinsic to it, insofar as the context that we were talking about? Meaning that it needs them to exist and that there's not a composer. Okay? Firstly, this is going to be an argument in which you'd have to justify. Okay? We don't see a contradiction with something having
and also
properties.
Anas, another thing. I can give him the example of the Trinity, right? So do the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, they're all possessing the same intrinsic properties. Yeah. They all possess the same essence according to you. The Son and the Father, the relation between the two is one of the Son having dependency with the Father. Do you agree with that?
He would say yes.
Yes. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah.
Question. So respond to the.
No worries, bro. No worries. Yeah.
I want to make sure that
no
you're
problem.
done.
No problem. No
So
problem.
I
I'm gonna set it out. I'm gonna set it out for you. It's fine. If you don't want to answer directly, it's fine. I'll set it up for you. So you believe that the Son and the Father, they have a relation between the two where the Son is dependent upon the Father. They're both intrinsic within one another, and yet you believe they're both distinct. What's the symmetry breaker? That's literally an example that satisfies the question that you were asking. Tell me the difference between that.
Okay, are you done?
Yeah, bro, I'll give you permission to speak.
I'm going to use my words very, 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 very clearly and slowly here. The blunder in metaphysics that you're making, firstly, because you made a lot of blunders. The first blunder is that you're comparing a creation in the same category as the creator. All the examples that you gave me, when you said, well, look, is your hand intrinsically distinct from you? Well, yeah, I'm a creation of God. I'm not God. So what we're doing is we're analyzing God. We're analyzing God's features. I have a creator because I'm a human being and God is my creator. I'm showing you that your God is impossible. So that's the first blunder. The analogy that you gave was totally disanalogous to the subject matter. So I want you to track linearly. So let me go ahead and very sophisticatedly break down what you just said. What I'm talking about when we refer to the Trinity is we're referring to three persons which are conceptually distinct in one essence, right? So the persons have the ability to act because they ground relationality on an ontological level. When I'm disputing here is that Allah cannot ground his own relation to himself because in order for something to be comprised of parts, it would be dependent upon a composer. Therefore, because Allah's attributes, he is dependent upon for him to exist, those attributes are a part of him. Okay, so that being necessary would mean that he needs a composer. Don't give me an example of things that exist in reality and then claim that these things that exist in reality are the same category as God. God is distinct from his creation. So I'm questioning God. I'm questioning your worldview about God. Don't compare it to the Trinity. Okay, and I'm almost going to land this plane here, but I want you to really see the symmetry breaker and the distinction. I'm going to say it slowly, Dean, because you asked me for this. In the Trinity, we have one divine essence in nature, okay, being possessed by three persons, okay? So we have three persons, each with their own ability to act, okay? Each with their own ability to do something, and their relation to each other is distinct, but their relation to the essence is not distinct, okay? So what I have is relationality being expressed ontologically, okay? And it does not need to be dependent upon anything outside of itself because we hold to absolute divine simplicity. What is absolute divine simplicity, you might ask? Absolute divine simplicity holds that God is not comprised of parts, okay? We don't hold that God is comprised of parts. We hold that the Father is God, the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God. There is no parts in the essence. The essence does not depend upon anything for it to be the essence, okay? So when I am explaining, and I'll ask the question again because for some strange reason I kept getting interrupted and for some strange reason you guys are not tracking linearly. So I'll ask the question again. If Allah is one singular person and Allah is not comprised of parts, right? That would mean that Allah would be dependent upon something else to ground Allah's relationality. You're saying Allah is comprised of parts. You run into a whole nother metaphysical problem, which is the composer-composite problem. So I'm asking you, how can parts not be dependent upon a whole to comprise it? You're saying the parts are dependent upon Allah and Allah is dependent upon the parts. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you, how can parts not be dependent upon something external to it to comprise it? Allah is the parts because Allah's essence is dependent and comprised of the parts. So how can these parts not be dependent upon anything external to itself to compose it? Please answer that. Don't dodge, don't run, don't deflect, don't keep saying the same thing about counterfactual dependency. I'm not asking you about that. My question is one of composition, okay?
Yeah, so we need justification. Yeah, so brother, we need justification that you need an external composer. You haven't justified anything for that. And by the way, before I let ANAS speak as well, we actually gave you an example within the Trinity, and you didn't even address it. You said
you're interrupting. Hey, you're interrupting, bro.
So you said you were asking something that's internal to itself that has dependency, right? That isn't dependent upon something outside of itself. And we gave you the Trinity. Right? So Q-Tip, I'm only going to ask you one question, yes or no. Is the Son dependent on the Father?
In what sense?
Oh my God. In the sense that it derives its existence from the Father. The Son derives its existence from the Father.
Wait, do you think this is analogous? Yes, the Son derives this from. Do you think this is analogous?
Okay, so is the Son dependent on the Father?
In what sense?
In any sense, in the ontological sense.
I just explained it to you. He derives his existence from the Father.
The Son is dependent upon the Father. Yeah, in role. I don't know. Wait, I don't know what you mean when you say that. Look,
in the sense of begottenness, is there an eternal? Okay, right? Is the Father the only one that's ase, and that the Son derives his existence from the Father? He's not.
The Son is eternally generated from the Father. Do you think this is analogous?
Okay. To be generated means you depend upon a generator, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So there's a relation between and within God where you have eternal dependency. Does that mean then that the Son required something outside of himself, an external generator, to bring itself existence? No. You see how that just cooks your whole argument.
Wait, do you think this is analogous?
ANAS, you can finish up.
Let me show you why it's not.
All right, I got you.
No, that's fine, bro. It's fine.
Wait, I
can't show you why it's not analogous.
Let ANAS finish up.
I can't show you why it's not analogous.
After we're done. You spoke for 6 minutes.
After you're done, bro. You just You
spoke for 6 minutes, bro. Look, we're being muted now.
You're not gonna do that. You just presented something. I'm going to respond to what you just said. You're not gonna do that, bro.
For 6 minutes uninterrupted.
Bro, you literally just presented. I can't respond. Okay, y'all go ahead.
I'm not done for you to respond. Okay? Look, we're not done yet. So we're phenomenal conservatists. Okay? What we do is we're gonna tell you, okay, So you say every composite thing needs a composer. What's the argument for that? That's the first thing. The second thing is you're strawmanning our position on what we mean by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala having properties, whether they're intrinsic or extrinsic. But that's besides the point. If you can right now, we can have a little cross-exam. Prove to me that if Allah is composed, granted, whatever you mean by that, prove to us that he needs a composer. Go ahead.
So yeah, here's the relevant distinction. And I don't know if you guys just aren't literally tracking or if you just don't understand my question. Okay, so I'm going to give you the distinction again, right? The Son, in terms of his role, depends upon the Father, not essence. The essence, they all possess the essence. The essence is eternal. The essence is uncreated. The essence possesses all the omni properties. What God is, the Son possesses. The Son is distinct from the Father in terms of role. So in terms of the Son's role with the Father, the Son is eternally generated from the Father. The distinction here is that Allah is one person. So everything that is distinct from Allah, all of his attributes which are distinct from him, okay, Allah would be dependent upon to act. So now Allah is dependent upon something else to act, which is outside of himself. It would be dependent upon a composer to comprise those parts. You're saying, well, what's your argument for it be depending upon a composer? I've already gave this same argument multiple times that no one is addressing.
Give it.
Bro, Islamic, please don't interrupt me. Please don't interrupt me, bro. I'm clearing up the blunder you've made.
I just don't see the argument for it, bro.
Discussion. I'm clearing up the blunder you made 5 times in the discussion.
Just give me the argument.
This is a blunder here. Parts of a pie are dependent upon the whole of the pie. You can't claim that the whole of the pie is not dependent upon the parts of the pie. In order for us to have a part of a pie, we must have a whole, meaning that there is something necessary that comprises the composite parts, which would be the whole relation. What you're saying is, this is the case, that the parts don't depend upon the whole, yet the whole depends upon the parts. This is the problem, right? This is the problem, okay? The whole of a pie, right? The whole of a pie is the whole of a pie. When we cut the pie into parts, each discrete part depends upon the whole. So we cannot have a part without a whole. We can have whole without parts, but we cannot have parts without. You
just baked yourself, by the way.
So that's what I'm trying to explain. So
you just baked yourself.
So the whole understanding, and this is an axiom. So you're just asking look, can you justify your axiom that parts depend upon wholes? Look, the justification is just going to be analytically true. So I would just ask you.
How?
I would just wait. So you think that parts depend upon wholes?
I'm asking you for the argument for that.
You're asking me for an argument that parts depend upon wholes? That's like asking me for an argument that apples are fruits, bro.
Q-Top, let me clarify.
True.
Let me clarify.
It's GG's. It's
let me
over.
clarify.
You're asking me for an argument that parts depend upon a whole?
Q-Top, I'm gonna tell you what I mean. Listen.
No.
You're asserting. Hello, sir. Oh my God.
Parts, bro. You're gonna have to answer this, bro. You ain't running from me, bro. You can run, but you can't hide. I'm asking you a question. Do parts depend upon wholes? You're asking me for an argument. It's analytically true. That's like saying prove an apple is a fruit. It's literally analytically true by the definition of fruit. An apple fits that category. I'm asking you.
Remember,
do parts depend upon wholes? Islamic Apex.
I don't even know what that means. That's gibberish.
He doesn't know what that means. Yeah.
So tell us what you think that means. Tell us.
Bro. Everybody spell.
Tell us what you think that means.
He doesn't know what that means.
Your rhetoric sucks. Anyway,
it's body bags.
Can you tell us what that? What do you mean for parts that depend upon wholes? What the hell does that mean?
Okay, I'll explain it again.
What the hell does that mean? You never explained it.
Bro, this is the most.
You never explained it. Okay, Darren, you want to explain what he means?
This is the most rudimentary. This is the most rudimentary understanding I can give you. If I have a pie, Islamic Apex, and I cut the pie in 8 pieces, okay, and I take a part of that pie, okay, could I have taken a part of the pie if there was no whole of the pie to begin with? No. So each part, each composition is dependent upon the whole, right? And the whole is not identical to the part, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm asking you this question. This is the question that we're getting at. Now that you finally conceded that you know what parts and wholes mean.
It's not a concession.
I'm glad you can understand.
It's not a concession.
I'm glad you can understand that. I'm glad that you understand.
How's that a concession?
Okay, so 1 second. So these attributes, are they a part of Allah?
And by part meaning what? You
Like
think part
parts of a pie, Islamic apex.
No, then I would disagree. No, that's not the same word. That's not the same meaning.
The analogy you gave
No,
is
they're
It's
not
not.
parts.
It's not.
Okay,
They're
okay,
not
bro,
parts
Bro,
of
you can
Allah.
keep staring at the ceiling and trying to look
They're
for
not
some sort
parts
of
of
explanation.
Allah now.
But
It's
the word
completely,
part,
it's completely
Darren,
disanalogous.
this is body bag nation.
you
bro.
just
What
equivocated.
is this?
Listen to how
That's an equivocation.
your analogy is completely
crazy.
disanalogous. Does Allah ever go from being a whole and then having parts?
Exactly.
Does that ever
You know what
happen?
I asked you?
Does that ever happen?
That's your analogy.
Does that ever
what
happen,
entails.
Q-Top?
That's
Does
just
that
you
ever happen?
presupposing that
Does Allah
Allah is
ever go
eternal.
from being a whole
That's
then
you
having parts?
presupposing that Allah is
Does he-
eternal, bro.
does-
That's what's in question.
Oh my! So that's the whole point.
Do you
You
know
believe
what's in
Allah's
question,
eternal.
Dean? Wait, Dean, do you know what's in question?
Can you prove you can't be eternal,
Wait,
having
wait.
distinct properties?
Wait, Dean, do you know what's in question?
Yeah, what's in question is the pizza parts analogous to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his parts? And I'm telling you, the pizza goes from being a whole then having parts. That's a temporal succession
gosh,
of it going through
You don't get it, bro.
an existence that doesn't have parts, then having
bad.
parts.
Dean,
Allah,
Dean.
what's the logical issue with Allah eternally possessing parts? What's the issue with that?
Dean, this is what I'm trying to demonstrate to you, bro. You have to listen.
Yeah, go ahead.
You are
demonstrate it to us. Go ahead.
presupposing that your idea of Allah is actually metaphysically coherent. So what you're
show
doing,
it's not.
Please stop interrupting. Okay, good.
The
You need to
burden-
prove it.
you're
I'm gonna let
not
y'all
coherent.
speak, bro.
You're
I want to
burden
let y'all
shifting.
speak, though. I want to let y'all speak.
Just
bro.
prove
Yeah,
it's
you're
not
burden
coherent.
shifting. You're burden shifting. Go ahead. Stop burden shifting.
You are presupposing that your idea of Allah being eternal is coherent. I am proving to you that Allah cannot be eternal. That's the whole argument. So when you say, well, Allah just eternally existed, the whole point I'm demonstrating is that a part composition cannot be eternal because it be
Why?
always dependent upon an external composition outside of itself.
Give an
Are
argument
the
for
parts
that.
identical? Are the parts
Okay.
identical to the whole? Wait.
Okay, Q-Top,
Are the
beautiful,
parts
beautiful.
identical to the whole, Dean?
No, the parts collectively are identical to the whole. Yes.
I'm not asking you the parts collectively. Are the parts?
Okay, so you have to clarify what you mean then. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Clarify what you mean then, bro, because you're speaking ambiguously. You're not
Bro,
speaking
I didn't
clearly.
say the parts collectively. Like you understand?
Okay, you just said parts. They could be collectively.
Dean, one sec.
Oh
Dean,
my gosh.
Dean,
This
one
is
sec, please. Hold on.
Crazy work. This
Hold on,
is crazy
Q-Top,
work.
Q-Top. Just real quick, okay? We agreed that us Muslims, we don't see a problem metaphysically or logically with God being composed as you defined it and as we agreed upon granting it, that he cannot be eternal with his distinct properties. What you are going to have to do, and I have to be strict here for some reason because you don't understand, you're going to have to provide a syllogism because it's very hard to track what you're saying because you're not saying anything.
Okay, so what you're doing now is you're presupposing that syllogisms can comprise like analytic truths. So like, look, if you just like don't accept the like foundation that like parts always depend upon wholes. Okay, so then I'm asking you a question then.
No,
Please
but you're
answer
not giving the argument,
Allah's
dude. You're never gonna
parts.
give it.
Oh my gosh, bro. Like, wait, so, dude, like, if you don't answer questions, bro, I can't engage with you.
Q-Top, premise one.
This is so simplistic. It's so simplistic.
Okay,
So simplistic.
okay. Do you know what an analytic truth is, bro?
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's something true by definition.
Okay, good. So how's it true by definition that a composed thing needs a composer?
Oh my gosh.
How is that analytically true?
Okay, I'll say it again. I'll say it again. Because the definition of a part is a composite of a whole. That's literally what the definition of a part is. So if we literally have a part, definitionally, like according to the academia, when we say something has metaphysical parts, all we're saying is that it is dependent and needs externally a whole.
We disagree with this. That's gibberish. That's gibberish. That doesn't even make any sense.
Go show us a definition that says that.
We don't agree with that definition anyway.
Here's why.
Give us any definition that says that.
Can I explain, bro?
Give us a definition that says
y'all
that.
don't want to learn. I'm here to educate, but y'all don't want to learn.
Give the definition.
So listen,
Bro, you didn't even know if the son was dependent on the father.
It's not
dude. Like, you're
identical.
not
A
positioned to
discrete
teach.
part.
Bring that definition.
A discrete part is not identical to the whole.
Yeah, we agree with that,
The whole
yeah.
is distinct from
Sir,
the
where did you
part.
get your definition?
So I'm asking you. So what I'm
Where did you get your
asking
definition?
Now he's playing semantics.
Where did you get your
Google it.
definition?
Just Google it, bro. It's in the literature. Just Google it.
Where's the definition?
Where is it from?
I've never heard that.
Google it.
External.
Google what it
Dean,
composite means.
Dean, one sec. Dean,
Oh my
hold on.
gosh, this is so meta. This is so
Okay,
meta.
no,
bro.
it's not.
This is
We're not
GGs.
being meta. No.
This 1v2 is slight work.
Q,
listen
listen.
to me.
Q,
Listen to me.
Q-Top.
Allah is parts.
Google it.
That's what
This
you're
guy
saying.
told me to
Allah
Google
is
it.
parts. I'm not asking you about a dependency on parts. I'm asking you about his essence. Allah's essence is made of many parts. correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
of course. What?
Okay, perfect. Now listen to me. Allah is distinct from these parts, correct?
And yes, but to qualify, parts means, wait, because I don't want you to equivocate here. Parts specifically means properties.
Yeah, that
Okay,
yeah.
good.
I don't care. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I agree
Yes.
with that. I agree
Okay,
with
good.
that. Okay.
God has
Okay,
parts,
okay.
insofar as him
Okay.
having properties.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay,
Continue.
yeah. This doesn't get anywhere. Okay, so perfect. So let me just make sure that we're finding some ground here. Allah is comprised of parts. Parts meaning his attributes.
Correct.
Okay. These parts of Allah are distinct. They are not identical to Allah.
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna give it to you like a pie example. I cut a pie up. Okay. You can say each piece of a pie is an attribute of the pie.
That's gibberish. That's nonsense. No, it's not.
Wait, why is that nonsense?
That's nonsense. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because the pie that you're cutting, the properties are not the pie itself.
I never said the properties were the pie.
No, it is. Because a piece of a pie, that itself, it literally came from the whole. We don't believe Allah's properties are like that. Okay?
Wait, how
we're not
is this
saying
analogous?
No. It's disanalogous. I'll tell you why. Let's say, for example, we have Allah. We don't say that,
I'm not asking you about a
That's
percentage.
nonsense. So that's why the disanalogy here, it's crazy. That's
I'm
the
not
blunder
asking you
from
about a percentage relation.
Are you? No.
confusing what I'm
You're not
asking.
understand. Please let me.
I'm not saying it like I'm not saying
You're not tracking. Q-Top, I know that's not what you're saying, but I'm pointing
So
it
why'd
out in
you bring
another
that
way
up?
so you could let me finish. Start tracking, please. The pie. When you cut up a pie, we can calculate. Listen, please, 1 second. When you cut a pie, you can calculate the percentage using fractions.
Okay.
Every time you cut a pie, you can calculate fractionally how much pieces there are. Good? So
Yeah.
now with that being said, what you need to do is justify how it's analogous to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he himself, when we say attribute of hearing, seeing, etc., these are going to be fractions. We don't believe that. That's nonsense. That doesn't even make sense. We don't
think
say
that's what I
Allah.
was saying?
We don't say Allah is a being that just has seeing, hearing, and then that's 10%. That's 10%. No, we don't say that. That's how it doesn't
you think
follow.
That's what I was saying. Like
That is what you were saying. Because the pie itself, that's not a property. You know that?
So,
the
I'm gonna
pie
explain
being the
this
pie
again.
is not a property. That's a
I'm
statement of
gonna explain
identity.
this again.
That's a statement of identity.
I'm gonna explain this again, bro, because this is like I don't know if you're just like not well versed in the metaphysics. Look, it's me, right? I am doing a bad job at communicating, or you're doing a bad job at listening. I'll take that I'm doing a bad job at communicating. I'll explain this to you one more time, maybe in a way that you can comprehend. Islamic apex. The part, I am not saying that Allah's attributes are a percentage of Allah. I'm talking about relation, not percentage. These are like two totally different categories. You just straw man me there totally. I'm talking about the part's relation to something else. You're talking about a percentage of a part. I'm not talking about percent. You realize that something can have a relation to something else, but not be a percentage relation. I'm not talking about a percent. I'm not saying that Allah is made up of like when you take Allah's attribute of being all knowing or something like that, then that certainly means like Allah is like less Allah. What I'm saying is these attributes, okay, you agree to me that they are parts of Allah. So who Allah is, his essence, is dependent upon these parts. He is made of parts. Do we agree there?
Yes, he has parts. Yep.
Oh, okay, perfect. So Allah's essence is made of parts. Okay, perfect. These parts, they are not dependent upon Allah, or are they dependent upon Allah?
Yes, they're dependent upon Allah. Yep.
Okay, perfect. What is Allah dependent upon?
Those attributes, they're counterfactually dependent upon one another.
Wait, stop. This doesn't answer my question. Allah is dependent upon the parts, correct?
And the parts are dependent upon Allah, yeah.
Okay, so Allah's essence is made up of distinctions. Okay, Allah's essence is made up of many parts. Okay,
yes.
Perfect. The parts necessitate I just got a call, guys. Sorry about that. Someone just called me. The parts.
You got to finish up this line of questioning. Go ahead.
Are you saying that parts do not necessitate a whole relation.
No, it does. It doesn't necessitate a whole relation. Yeah.
Okay. Then we're going back to the pie example. You have to show me why the pie example does not work.
I'll tell you why. Because
all your analogies to the pie
go ahead.
example, all your analogies to the pie example have not been expressing what I'm saying. I'm
Okay, no
talking
problem.
about the relation. Yeah. I'm talking about the relation between the parts and the whole.
No
the
problem.
question I have for you is, if Allah is made of parts, Allah is made of many parts. These parts are not dependent upon anything extrinsic to itself to comprise it, correct?
Yes.
Parts don't have a
So,
No, no,
so perfect.
Parts don't have
Let
a
him finish up. Let him finish up. Q-Top. Finish up your line of questioning.
I'm almost done, bro. I'm just trying to
Go ahead.
clarify. So in other words, what you're saying is parts can be non-dependent.
No, we just told you that the parts are dependent upon Allah.
Wait, stop.
Bro, dude,
Stop.
come on, man.
Allah's essence is
You gotta
parts,
finish up your line of
correct?
questioning, dude. Hurry up.
Allah's essence is parts, correct? We just agreed to that.
Yeah, Allah's essence has parts.
Oh, okay,
The
so
parts are dependent upon
is
Allah.
Is Allah's
parts.
essence
Kind
not
of factual
dependent upon
dependency.
Is Allah's essence not dependent upon a whole?
The essence is the whole itself. Are you slow?
That's a
Is the essence the parts or is the
Bro,
essence
are
the
you
whole?
okay?
Wait,
The
is
essence,
the essence
is
the
the
essence the
whole. The essence has parts. The parts are the whole.
Wait. How can the essence have
The whole is
parts
made
and
up
the
by the
essence be the
parts.
whole at the
Like, are you
same
okay?
time?
Bro, are you done with your line of
Wait.
questioning? Are you done
hold
with your
up.
line of questioning?
Body
So I can
bags,
address.
y'all. This is
I want
this
to
is
address
like
the pizza
wonder.
analogy.
How
When
can
we
the
gonna finish
essence?
this?
Wait, is the essence parts or is the essence whole?
The essence is a whole that is comprised of parts, like we just established.
Wait, stop.
Bro, come on, dude. Okay, I'm gonna address the pizza analogy now. I'm gonna address the pizza analogy now. I'll tell you why it's not analogous.
The essence,
I'll address why the pizza analogy isn't analogous.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Can I-
They're not listening. They're not tracking, bro.
Anas,
They're not
Anas,
tracking, y'all.
Let me address the analogy. Q-Top, we just answered 10 of your questions just now. Let me address the pizza analogy.
Y'all
The pizza analogy isn't
y'all not
analogous.
tracking, bro, what I'm
Dude,
saying. Y'all are not tracking
Dude,
what
are
I'm
you
saying,
okay?
bro.
Can you let me speak?
You're not tracking what I'm saying, bro.
Okay, so the pizza analogy isn't analogous because
Yes, it is.
It goes. Okay, so dude, you gotta let me speak. The pizza analogy isn't analogous because it goes. You're question begging. You're question begging within the analogy. You're assuming already a temporal shift from whole to parts. The pizza whole, then the pizza whole turns into parts. Now you're telling me that I'm trying to show you that an eternal relation can be possible within the pizza analogy. No, you just given us an example where a non-eternal thing goes through shifts of existences between being a whole and being a whole that then is comprised with parts. Now I'm going to ask you a very simple question, Q-Top. Is there a possible existence where Allah has parts, but He possesses those parts eternally and does not go from a time where He is comprised with those parts? And if not, give us an argument as to why that's the case. So I'm going to clarify very clearly. Is there a possible existence where Allah possesses these attributes eternally without going from a whole pizza to then a pizza that has parts? Is that a possible existence? If not, explain why in this and within this example, why is it the case that this eternal being can never exist where it possesses attributes eternally, all of its distinct attributes eternally? Why is it the case that this is a impossibility? Explain within that framework. The pizza analogy is not analogous.
Great question, you might ask. I'll repeat the answer for the fifth or sixth time. What's in question right now is if something can be eternal but be comprised of parts. That's the metaphysical question. That's the contention here. What I'm saying is that something cannot be eternal but be comprised of parts. And the way that I've demonstrated that, and I don't know why you keep like begging. I don't know why you keep strawing.
Don't bring up the pizza, bro.
I don't know why. I don't know why I'm being overtalked. I don't know why you're overtalking me now. You're being a hypocrite. You just said you didn't want me to overtalk you.
Yeah, you were talking before.
Okay, dude, go ahead. I want to make sure you're finished before I cook, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, sure. So let's finish. Do not bring the pizza analogy because we just said it's not analogous. So you have to show why it's analogous. When I just showed you, it goes through a temporal shift, whole to parts, and of course, it goes through composition. Because it goes from whole to parts. So someone must have composed it because there's a relation temporally. With Allah, there's no temporal shift. So it's not analogous. Stop regurgitating this nonsense.
Dean, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, if you can finish up, go ahead.
By the way, essence doesn't refer to essence, it's referred to essentialism. Essence has nothing to do with mereology. Okay? So what we're saying is that property Property just means what picks out of the subject that is true. Anything that is picked out of Allah that is true, that is called a property. Does that make sense? You can continue.
Yeah. So,
And by the way, essence is, we define it as a set of essential properties, of course. So.
okay. So that's the whole problem. So, okay. So when you say, right, so again, I want to like highlight the issue for like the fifth or sixth time. The issue is that you're saying someone can be comprised of parts, but not to be eternally dependent. Okay. I'm saying that something can be eternally dependent. Something that is eternally dependent can be comprised of parts, right? But you're saying Allah is not dependent upon anything outside of himself, yet Allah is metaphysically comprised of parts. So here's the issue that I'm going to illuminate now, like the sixth or seventh time. The reason why I keep giving the pizza analogy, and I don't know why you guys keep saying, well, it's going through its temporal shift. The whole point that I'm making is that all parts that are being comprised must be dependent upon something outside of itself. Therefore, it must change. And that's the whole argument, right? The whole argument is that something that is in a changing state requires an unchanged, or requires something that is unchanging that starts that sequence of change. So the whole metaphysical point I'm bringing up is that if something is composite, it will be dependent upon a composer, okay, to actually comprise those parts. Now you're saying, no, it doesn't need to be. So I'm just expressing the relation between parts and their whole. It is a case that all parts necessarily depend upon their whole. You're saying Allah, essence, is made of parts. It is made of parts, okay? Just like, for instance, my essence is made of parts. There's many different parts to my being. Okay, so parts and be eternal. I've now repeated the same argument 6 times and I haven't heard a coherent rebuttal. So I'm going to land the plane and let you guys try again because you're not answering me. Okay, how can parts not be dependent upon a whole? Meaning it's dependent upon something that is not identical to it to comprise it. You're saying Allah is parts. That's what Allah is. I'm not asking you about dependency relation, not dependency. Allah is parts. Allah's essence is parts. It's all these parts, all these parts, all these parts. I'm saying those parts are non-identical to a whole because you guys don't affirm ADS. So you guys say that the parts are not identical to the whole.
We don't say, can I correct you?
Like, stop.
I want to correct you.
Almost done, bro. I'm trying to illuminate the issue because you keep like running around it, and then you keep doing like this weird like sophistry tactic where you actually think you're addressing me. It's just been a whole bunch of begging the questions and straw mans here, right? Like I don't understand why you're not tracking. Look, if Allah's essence is composite, Allah's essence is dependent upon a composer. Just in the very analytic understanding of the terminology, composites require composers, just like how creations require creators, just like how paintings require painters, just like how buildings require builders. To say that, look, there's just been this eternal building, but it doesn't depend upon an eternal builder, is just fallacious. To say we have an eternal painting,
Let me respond.
It's fallacious. So you're saying Allah is an eternal composite, but yet he doesn't depend upon an eternal composer. This is the metaphysical issue that I'm not getting an answer to. So you can try again for like the 7th, 8th time. We got like 7, 8 body bags already in the live, bro. Like the body, at this point, the body bags are so much that I need to like take some out and bring us some new ones in because we're not getting it.
Hold on, Dean, hold on. Can you do a clarifying question for the chat for a second out here? Dean, hold on for a second.
Wait, Jay. I just want to give him Jay. Jay.
You get that. I got a clarifying question for you, Q-Top, so that we understand in chat what's going on, okay?
Yeah.
You guys are all talking in passages here. I want to break it down for those guys. If I understood you, you said you can't have eternal parts without composition. So you're saying if Allah has real parts, each part either is the whole essence, then it's not really a part, or it's less than the whole, and there's no third option. And then you're saying that eternal parts is still composition. Even if those parts are eternal, there's still distinct realities within Allah. Is that what you're saying? That Allah's essence equals to the sum of distinguishable components?
That's horrible.
And some of the components implies multiplicity within the being. Is that simple?
What? That is
what you're saying?
That is 99% what I'm saying. The only distinction, right, that we would make is that in the Trinity, and I like that you said this. You said real parts. See, we have conceptual distinction, not real distinction. So when in the essence, right, and that's the Trinity's. That is the person's relation to the essence, right? The persons are distinct in terms of their relation to each other, but alike in terms of the relation to the essence. The point I'm highlighting, Jay, and you put it, that was good. The point I'm saying is that all eternal composites require an eternal composer. They're begging the question that just because something is an eternally they're begging the question that's saying that something that is composite doesn't need a composer just because it's eternal. What I'm saying is that each discrete part is not identical to the whole, right? That's why under ADS we say that look, all of God's attributes are identical to the whole, right?
Right.
So the point that I'm illustrating is each real part would be dependent upon a whole composition, which is external to itself, right? To actually comprise it, right? That's all I'm saying. And so you're like 99% there, bro. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So let me respond to that now.
So
okay.
no temporal,
dude. Oh my God.
No, hey, be quiet.
Jay's trying to get clarification. We're gonna let you respond.
I know. When I came up to your live, you banned me from it before because you're so afraid of talking.
Bro, you're like a low tier, bro.
All right.
You're like one of the biggest low tiers.
Hey, listen, you're slow tier, man. If I'm low tier, you're slow tier. Okay, thank you. Now,
Did you
they say there is no temporal.
It was always messy. Go on, bro.
Hey, Dean.
Bro, are you okay?
Don't act like a 2-year-old, okay? Don't act like a 2-year-old. Let's not start on this, okay? Be quiet, boy.
Bro, Dean, hold on.
Jay's just getting clarification, bro. Guys, I'm fine with like continuing to like 1v2, y'all. It's not a problem. Jay's just getting clarification.
I'll just keep muting him. That's all I'll keep on doing. I'll just keep muting him.
He's just getting clarification.
Okay. When they say no temporal shift.
Oh my God.
Hey, hush, Timmy. No temporal shift argument means, okay? No temporal shift argument, which he's brought up. That's another thing I just want to. I think I heard him say there's no temporal change and Allah eternally has these parts.
Yeah.
But I think would I be right in saying that's irrelevant because temporal change deals with something when something happens. When something happens, composition deals with what something is, right?
Well,
So a composed state is dependent by nature, is what I'm trying to say.
Jay, thank you for illuminating that because that's what I've been saying, Jay. If you've heard me, I've been saying that. I've been saying, wait.
Can we continue the discussion?
This is what are making me crash out. Because they just keep like it's just like the I'm trying to explain, bro. Jay. That's why I keep saying that the pizza analogy that I'm giving is analogous, right? It has nothing to do with temporal change, right? The temporal change is that we're saying that everything that goes under a temporal iteration would necessarily be comprised of parts. What we're saying is that something that is metaphysically primary, which is God, cannot be comprised of parts. It has to be divinely simple as it composes everything else. So that which composes everything itself cannot be composed. And that's the whole argument. So when they bring up, well, the pizza now doesn't work because it's just temporal. It does work because I'm talking about identity, relation, and essence. I'm not talking about temporality. What we're saying is that something that is comprised of parts